everybody. My name is Julian Christ. I'm here today to talk to you all about why I think college athletes should make money off their success while they're still in school. But before we dive in, I would like to ask you all, how many hours of school do you think full-time students put into a week? 20, maybe 30? Now, I know there are a lot of students, including myself, that work on top of taking classes. The average work week for a part-time job is about 30 hours, and sometimes more. So between school and work, that's about 60 plus hours of time committed to your school career, as well as making money to depend on yourself. That is a lot of time, and balancing your work life and your school life can be a very difficult thing to do. Now, I know y'all are probably wondering, what does this to do with college athletes getting paid? Well, it has everything to do with it. A lot of people don't realize how much time these athletes put into their respective sport along with their schoolwork. According to Sports Money on Forbes, the average Division I football player spends about 43 hours a week to his sport. That is basically like having a typical 9-to-5 job, but you are not guaranteed to get anything out of it. That is double the mandate of more than 20 hours a week for athletically related activities. The NCAA claims that student athletes are students first and athletes second, but I don't know of any regular students working 40 hours a week and not getting paid for it, all the while having to keep up with a full-time class load. Ethically speaking, it is too much to put on an 18 or 19-year-old kid, and I think that these young men and women should earn some kind of reward for the time they put into their beloved sport. So a little bit about the NCAA. It stands for the National College Athletic Association and is a nonprofit organization that regulates athletes from more than 1,200 institutions across the country. The NCAA was actually founded by Theodore Roosevelt, and it was created to protect the well-being of the student-athlete body. The fact that the NCAA is recognized as a nonprofit organization is a little bit ironic to me because they are also a multi-billion-dollar business. From TV contracts to sponsorships in bowl games to advertising some of the most popular teams, players, and coaches, they bring in huge amounts of revenue each year. They are basically exploiting these kids and in doing so, regulating them being able to receive any sort of income or benefits. Seems a little bit fishy to me. College sports is supposed to be about education first, right? Yet almost everything we do in regard to these activities in college sports is usually done for the competitive aspect, not educational aspects. Due to the thirst for television exposure, winning, and generating revenue, teams are playing at all hours of the night, and the travel demands have increased exponentially due to the conference realignment. Like I said earlier, these college athletes are putting in massive amounts of time and hard work into their respective sports. Time, nonetheless, that is being taken away from doing schoolwork and being present in class. For example, this year's BCS National Championship game required many students from both the University of Alabama and the University of Georgia to miss class on that game day and the day afterwards. Another example is the college basketball March Madness tournament. Schools that are competing in that showdown will miss at least a whole week of class due to traveling. Players that stay in the tournament the longest will naturally miss more class. It doesn't matter how academically prestigious your school is, they will all just expect you to handle that load. So as far as student athletes being more student than athlete, tell that to the thousands of students who leave school early to play at a professional level, mostly because of the big payday. Shouldn't we be encouraging kids to stay in school rather than having them leave early? I guarantee you if a basketball player is making some income on the side, he would have less of a reason to postpone his degree to go to the NBA. One argument that is constantly heard is that these students are in fact paid, but in scholarship money. With these scholarships, sometimes up to $200,000, the students will supposedly receive the best training, the best coaching, and developmental programs to help them achieve the goal to reach the next level. As great as that is to receive a scholarship of any kind, it does not go to your personal well-being. It is not something that you can take out of your personal bank account. It goes to paying tuition only to be in that program, which is kind of paradoxical in itself. Jay Bilas, a former professional NBA player and an ESPN writer, said it perfectly. His words were, and I quote, "Think about what a scholarship actually is. It is a school paying itself. It is like me paying myself for rent for my kids in my house, and then claiming I don't have any money left because I paid myself for rent." The NCAA can no longer keep making this argument of paying for scholarships a fallback and continue to play victim. Another argument going on right now in this subject is if college athletes should be paid salary. Now, I know there are some people who actually think athletes should get paid a flat rate, but at the end of the day, it is a very impractical solution. Being on any kind of salary can be subject to paying federal and state taxes along with employee income and social security taxes. And since they are just students, tuition and college expenses would not be deductible because their income level would surpass the IRS eligibility limit. Now, let me recall my basis of this speech. I'm not here today to tell you whether or not a player should be paid directly by the NCAA or not. I'm here to offer a median that everyone can agree on, and that median is compensation. We should compensate players just as much as, for example, the Olympics do. They let their athletes engage in sponsorships and endorsement deals, and they're encouraged to cash in on their fame and athletic ability. Let college athletes take their endorsement money. If the local auto parts store wants to pay a college athlete to sign autographs for 2 hours during a store sale, why shouldn't the athlete be allowed to this opportunity? If someone wants to give a gift to a certain player, why should that be forbidden? The NCAA has nothing to worry about except this penny in their pocket, and based on their yearly revenue, I don't see that being an issue for them. So if the NCAA isn't going to pay athletes directly, which admittedly is very tricky, like I explained earlier, then at least administrators have to stop telling college athletes that they can't earn money from outside sources. It's time to eliminate this outdated concept and allow college athletes to get paid for their efforts and their likeness. Thank you.